Soup and bread, soup and bread.
Call boy, a girl, like devushka.
Korinchevi. Korinchevi, yeah.
My parents were frightened.
With smartness, you cannot understand Russia.
My family lived in Russia for about 14 years already.
Moscow, which is quite an unexplored in an academic sense. A lot of things, a lot of facilities.
My family is originally from Kazakhstan, and I've started studying the Russian language like 1.5 years ago.
The main influences that made me come to Russia was the World Cup at that time. So I said, let me make this move, watch the World Cup, then see how things will be. If maybe it will be difficult, well.
I read in the internet about it, and I was like, okay, let's give it a try.
They were shocked.
They did not really understand my decision because none of them speaks Russian.
My parents were frightened. They're not actually letting me go until I boarded flight.
They weren't very satisfied.
3 weeks after arriving, because in the beginning I didn't want to speak Russian because I did not feel confident with it. For example, at grocery stores, I can now talk to the person at the cash register, and I think they kind of understand me.
There is this stereotype that language is quite a barrier. Speaking for myself, I haven't really felt that. I don't buy this stereotype that language is a barrier here because at least people of my age, everyone speaks English.
I think just for 3 months living in Russia, I just studied Russian for the whole day. For a long time, my program is taught in Russian, but then I feel kind of shy, so I just use Russian as when I really need to use.
I could get along, I could form 1 or 2 sentences in Russian after around 4 months. Study Russian for around 1 year, and then now I can get around really easily.
I think it was my second year in dental school. I'm talking with patients every day, with doctors, so I'm practicing the language every day. Even I'm even forgetting my mother language. I'm forgetting English. So yeah.
Do you remember? Call boy, a girl, like devushka.
I was at the bookstore and I wanted to buy a book for my Russian class, and I knew how to ask them if they had the book at the store. And when they were answering me, like they did not have it at this store, but I could go to another one, and they gave me the directions, I didn't get them. And so I just stood there and like, sorry, I don't understand you. Can you please like maybe type in the address or something like that?
The Russian mentality is very complicated. There is even a Russian poet, Tyutchev. He said, "Россию умом не понять," which is, with smartness you cannot understand Russia. I don't understand it, but I feel it.
I don't make this eye contact or smile at people. So I kind of like Russian people because they're like me.
I really like winter before because in Vietnam we also have winter, but here like it's another level of winter. It's just cold.
There was once I was in the metro, and most of the time when I'm in the train, I normally use my earphones. So there was a guy who came, I think he was drunk. Then I don't know if he was excited or curious. He wanted to have a conversation, but he was a bit rough. There was another guy who came and was like, "Hey, excuse me, what are you trying to do? Can you please stop what you're trying to do?" So I cannot say I've had any case of racism in Russia. I'm a different color, and you don't get to see most of us in this part of the world. It's an element of curiosity.
It's very hard to gain the trust of Russians and to make Russian friends. But I think it's a matter of time.
Also, people don't hold the door for you. And in Germany, would always hold the door open if there's someone next, like behind you. But in Russia, they don't. And I thought it was kind of rude in the beginning, but now I just realized it's not what you do.
This guy was quite young, still a teenager, so he liked these Russian rappers like Timati, and there's another guy called Vasha. So he tried to introduce me to those songs, and I was too old for those.
She don't speak English well. So actually when we argue, we just argue in Russian. And I don't know a lot of words in Russian, so actually we don't argue a lot.
Yeah, I don't like when I buy stuff and my roommates be like, okay, that's very expensive. Okay, I mean, yeah, I know it's expensive, but I bought it for myself. I spent my own money, so what's the problem?
Здравствуйте.
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 I was like, I could not get my head around that word for a very long time.
I always had some problems with saying brown, like the color. Коричневый. Коричневый, yeah.
Подготовительный факультет. Oh goodness, it gave me a lot of problems.
The word alcohol dehydrogenase from biochemistry.
I think a week ago when I learned dostatochna, and I kind of like the word, I like the pronunciation.
I like these expressions, oi blin, opa. Oi blin is some sort of exclamation mark when there is something unprecedented. You see someone has said something quite incorrect or something, then you say oi blin. When you're ordering food, you, being an Indian, you need to say ostret.
One of the words I used to use the most, spasiba.
Приятного аппетита. The word that I learned from the manager of my dormitory.
Если что, договориться. It's like there's a problem, we can't just solve it anyhow.
To say спасибо and извините. I know it's somehow surprise you, but in Vietnam we don't say that a lot like here.
Reading everything I can see, and I'm trying to understand. Like, if I'm just happy if I know a few words and if I can get like the message out of the context.
Soup. Soup was one thing we never took back home, but now here, let's say I go to a restaurant, the first thing I'll order is soup and bread, soup and bread.
I like these words, chiki-birki, gopnik.
I think just, I don't know if it's a swear word, but just ужасно. Do you say that a lot? I don't think I know that many except for Blyat.
St. Petersburg, Yekaterinburg, Voronezh,